Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to represent our group to talk about what are the features of sustainable grazing system. In our slides, I'm going to talk about traditional grazing system versus sustainable grazing system. Also, I will borrow theories from other areas to explain sustainable grazing system. Then, I would like to talk about elements or features to satisfy sustainable grazing system. Then, I would like to conduct specific detections under the feature of sustainable grazing system. Under the different elements, I will give few cases to explain the sustainable grazing system. Now, let's move to the traditional versus sustainable grazing system. Over the past years, the aim of grazing system always maximum plant, animal growth, and productivity. This situation is changing in the current decades. The priority today for sustainable grazing system is uh, like uh, uh, to focus on the complex interactions between plant, soil, weather, and livestock. In ideal situation, soil, plants, animals, and weather should all be considered to decrease the effect of pasture degradation issue for long-term use. And also it should follow the stream bottom line method. The success of sustainable grazing system can be explained under the three bottom line method. From this picture, we can see that there are three elements: the social, environment, economic. They integrated with each other. The short-term health of grazing system measured by profits, which belongs to the economic elements. The long-term health of grazing system measured by social and environmental factors. Uh, to achieve sustainable grazing system success, we need to keep balance of the three elements. Uh, Now I'm going to talk about the elements to meet the needs of sustainable grazing system. From this chart of pasture production, um, it has grazing method and plant, pasture species, soil fertility, and weather conditions. When in suitable sustainable grazing system, the different elements should all be focused. For the first one, different grazing methods, the rational grazing and continuous grazing system. In the further slides, I will discuss and compare the two grazing methods. The second one was the introduction of pasture plant, perennial shrubs, saltbush. The pasture species induct suitable pasture species is always related to sustainable grazing system. It could optimize pasture species and growth. Pasture composition is maintained in a desirable state. Livestock performance means established growth pathways. For the soil fertility, solid soil adaptations should be considered in the sustainable grazing system, adding nutrition to improve soil conditions, also maintain soil water, and etc. Different weather condition control. There's an example unpredictable climates with less common grass. Uh, for example, the native pastures in Australia. Now I'm going to talk about specifically about the grazing methods, the rotational grazing and the continuous grazing, which are the two common grazing methods in the grazing system. From my point of view, the rotation grazing method is a more sustainable grazing method to meet the needs of sustainable grazing system. In this system, the animals are rotated across its paddocks so as to graze and rest each paddock. There are lots of advantages in this method. Well, for the continuous grazing, it is one pasture system where livestock has unrestricted access throughout the grazing season. Uh, they only could work well in dependable climate zone like inland, also not appropriate in variable weather conditions. Not suitable in the pastures with a variety of species with different growth rate. While some species can be overgrazed and others undergrazed, soil and plant recovery problems exist under this kind of method. Now I'm going to talk about the previous Sustainable Pasture project. A project was conducted from 2002 to 2006 based on the reliability of pasture system in salt-affected landscapes, including plant-based management for dryland salinity and the National Research Project profitable and suitable sustainable grazing system for livestock with saline land. The ambitious project operated in different areas of Australia, like Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales of 12 sites. The hypothesis in the experiment explained that grazing systems demonstrate in saline areas of Australia are more profitable, environmentally sustainable, and socially accessible than other current projects on saline land. This project detects the sustainable performance under the different elements of sustainable grazing system, like material balance, animal performance, and economics in pasture. After this experiment, people conclude that the sustainable grazing system in the saline land are more suitable than other activities, and people also try to build a sustainable grazing system under severe content. After this experiment, people conduct a lot of plant choosing on pasture with saline land and dry land. We found that there are lots of studies of plant choosing. One of the experiments in 2013 indicated that Australian native perennial shrubs contributed nutrition to grazing system in dry and infertility land. They reported 39 perennial shrubs in Australia, and there was less nutrition differences in the all seasons. After the experiment, people found that sheep gained weight after staying 8 weeks pasture system containing 4 perennial shrubs, while the sheep only maintained their weight with cereal or grains in another group. Also, they provide ground health and shade and shelter for sheep under the perennial shrubs. They finally conclude that the researchers suggest that Australian shrub species can plant in low to medium rainfall zones for the use of pasture. We finally conclude that sustainable grazing management should be a dynamic question. It focuses on different parts related to the pasture, like plant weed control, seed set of desirable species or animal requirements, and can be combined with other management strategies like soil, water, and weather condition detections to sustain the pasture ecological community and profits. Because of the time, we only pick up some of the elements in the sustainable grazing system. So thank you.